I want residuals.
We like to call this a Whip-Ass Wednesday in the Freak Nation. We bring to the forefront things that are kicking ass. Typically, we bring up women that are kicking ass. I'd like to say Crasher's kicking ass with her whipping ass look today. Look at you. You look good, Crash.
My Broncos shirt?
Yep.
The sale. The sale is about to happen, folks.
Which, by the way, we're going to be talking to Daniel C. Lust, sports law attorney, always greatness here in the Freak Nation, coming up in about 15 minutes about that sale with the Denver Broncos. Is it going to Peyton Manning versus John Elway? Could that happen, Crash?
Yes, it is being talked about right now. John is with one ownership potential group, and Peyton is with another potential ownership group. So yeah, I would prefer to see this go off on a live auction format because I would love to see the bids just go up. No, $5 billion. No, $6 billion. I would like to see that. That would be very entertaining for the sports world in general and for the only billionaires in this world that could partake in that. But and then to see Peyton and John go at it.
Hey, Richie,
how many people do you think would watch that if ESPN broadcast it live?
Gosh,
that'd be greatness. But see, John Elway, Richie, has a track record, and it's not very good when it comes to executive positions with the Denver Broncos. Peyton Manning has zero. He hasn't been a part of executive decisions with the National Football League. Don't you think it's Peyton Manning 1, John Elway 0 right now? Richie?
Well, in my opinion, I don't think it as far as John Elway, he couldn't pick a quarterback to save his life for being one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And he lucked in again in Peyton Manning and winning that last Super Bowl. Yeah. So I'd probably trust Peyton Manning a little bit more. Maybe he can pick himself a quarterback a little bit easier than John Elway.
So, yeah, John Elway and Peyton Manning whipping ass on a whipping ass Wednesday.
Well, potentially, yes. Let's see it. Well, we're not going to see it.
Okay, we want it. We want it to happen.
We want it, yes.
We've got so much distrust in this country right now. Why not?
That's a good point. That could really elevate the spirits of this country.
It is a whip-ass Wednesday, and here's something for you, Freak Nation. We're going to talk some Omicron with Dan Lust, but this is where we are with COVID-19. Omicron. Do we call it COVID-19 or Omicron? What do you call it, Crash?
It's COVID.
Okay, COVID.
Omi.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen Omi. I've seen that in the Twitterverse.
Speaking of, where's our cat? Where is he sleeping?
Speaking of Omar and Omi Mahomey, which is
did you put him in the?
Nope, he's sleeping on his own.
In his jail cell?
What? You mean in the laundry room?
Yeah.
No, he's sleeping.
This is where we are with COVID, and I'm curious if this is the way it is at workplaces. Maybe we put this out on Twitter, Richie. When I asked my daughter, how'd school go? I said, did you see so-and-so and so-and-so? She says, well, so-and-so wasn't here today. Automatically think COVID.
Right.
COVID.
Yeah.
I see someone show up at the kid drop-off with a mask on.
That is not working.
COVID. The assumption is guilt. It's
not guilty. It's just unfortunate
for
this particular time. Oh, well, you got the sickness. But then guess what? They're going to be fine for the next couple of months. Lucky them. And we're going to be the ones still worrying. I mean, come on. It's something we're going to have to live with. It's just something we're going to have to live with. Bottom line.
I know
we need to start changing that mentality. And I did see something. What was it? I think it was on Monday. There's a group that is pressuring the doctors in the Biden administration to start getting this messaging out there, saying, this is what we have for our future. Let's just figure out how we can live with it. And of course, that message hasn't gotten out yet, but apparently there's
if only there was a way to stop this whole thing. Oh, yeah, there is.
At least minimize it. Yes, there is.
Hey, Richie, I want you to look this up, and I'm going to explain it. I'm going to give you the title of it. I want you to look it up, and I want you to bring it up on the screen.
Okay.
What did they call it back in the day? They called it
SARS-CoV-2.
Chicken pox parties. Look that up. Just look it up. Just look it up, please.
What?
Yeah, I remember this being a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, where parents they would find out that a friend or a family member or a relative, their kid had chicken pox. And these families would get together in the same room with this kid that had chicken pox because they wanted them all to get chicken. There it is, a pox party.
I hated the chicken pox when I was a kid.
Yes, Crash.
I never heard of pox parties, also known as flu parties. So why aren't we doing COVID parties?
Stop it, Crasher. Stop it.
Well, why aren't we? You say
There
stop it. Why aren't we?
You remember at the very beginning of the pandemic, there were some government officials in other countries who were actually saying for this to be a thing. I think it was maybe in Britain. And there were some like members of parliament there. They were like, screw it. Let's just do this. Let's just get everybody. Everybody get it.
Mm.
I remember, I'm pretty
the
sure
herd
it was
immunity thing was big. Yeah. Like a year and a half ago. Yeah.
But
Well,
the Crasher, hold on just a second before you go into that.
Diatribe.
At some of these chickenpox parties, these kids were affected for the rest of their life.
What do you mean?
Where they had underlying conditions thanks to chickenpox. And I'm not saying that I would be one of those. Let's go into a freaking Omicron party. And I would be fine.
Oh my God.
Or I would crap the bed. That's just it. I don't know. I had, what was the main influenza? Okay, what's the big flu? Influenza A or B?
I get them confused, but you had B a couple of years ago on Memorial Day weekend.
God damn, I wanted to die.
And you were out. Yeah.
I watched the Indy 500 from an almost deathbed in the ER room in South Texas.
Good times.
I did not have the common flu. How did I get it? I think I know how I got it, but I'll just leave that for another day.
Right.
I don't want this thing, Crasher. I don't want Omicron because I don't know how my body will crash. Well, I've got the old blood and we're good with it. No, Crash. You can't act like that you're the end all be all, that this is how it's going to be.
I did not say that. I do feel pretty confident in my blood, but I did not say anything about that. I'm just saying that we can no longer live in fear. I think there's nothing wrong with masking. That keeps you safe from so many things, including me being a massive allergist and asthma person. The mask has done me wonders over the last couple of years. Yes. I don't know why I didn't discover it earlier. But COVID's not going anywhere. COVID-19 is not going anywhere. It's going to be with us for the rest of our lives. We have to figure out a way to live with it. Bottom line. Hey, if you're vaccinated, more power to you because you're probably not going to get real sick. So, Kenny, you shouldn't really worry about getting COVID because you've been vaxxed and boosted. You probably shouldn't worry about it.
I'll admit, I tested myself this morning because I'm headed into the whole of motorsports this weekend at the Chili Bowl in Tulsa.
And nobody's going to be wearing masks.
Some people, don't crash her, please. You're going to make it political out of the gate.
No, I'm not. I'm not, because you came back from the motorsports convention, PRI, where nobody was wearing masks.
Okay, great. Anyway, I just want to make sure I'm not one of those guys. I'm not a super spreader because we're going to be interviewing people. Be hanging out with my snappy mask.
Are you going to hiccup like you just did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pox parties. How stupid.
Wow. I never heard of those. I'm glad I was never a part of a pox party. I just laid in my bed and itched. The stupid little things getting all over my butt. Oh, I hated the chicken pox.
That influenza B, man. That was hell. I was, my mom and my sister and brother-in-law and Henley were all there. I didn't see them for 7 days. I quarantined in this one room on the beach, and it would pass me little freaking fig bars underneath the door for breakfast and lunch. We didn't know what COVID was.
No, this is way before.
That was the worst thing about my quarantine period. And I mentioned this, I think I mentioned this last week too, was not seeing human faces for a week, not having social interaction. That was the worst part.
Well, at the time, my mom was in her mid-80s. My brother-in-law is immune deficient. What do you say?
Immunocompromised.
Yes. My daughter at the time was 4 or 5, and I didn't want to. Oh, sucked ass. I don't know what we solved in the first segment, but regardless.
Well, hey, can we lighten the mood really quick?
Please.
Yeah,
please do.
I want to play this video from last night's Phoenix Suns game.
Yes, good.
All right, explain it first.
Yes. Okay. So the Suns were playing up in Toronto. They were playing the Raptors. They got the dub, 99-95. The Phoenix Suns are still the best team in the NBA this year. They're 31-9. They were the first team to reach 30 wins this year. Toronto, like a lot of Canada at the moment, not allowing fans in the stands at professional sporting events because of the continued outbreak of the Omicron virus. It was late in the game in the fourth quarter. I believe there were less than 20 seconds left to go. Devin Booker was at the free throw line and trying to cinch this game for the Suns. And then we had this occurrence, which was my favorite thing I've seen in a long time. And it is Devin Booker getting angry at a certain something going on behind the net. For a guy who usually plays in front of 20,000 rowdy fans on the road in the NBA Finals, I don't know why he was so annoyed by what was going on last night. But take a look at the video. This is from Bally Sports Arizona and their Twitter page. Devin Booker at the free throw line last night against the Toronto Raptors.
Let's see, that was the miss. So he got lucky and it went in.
He's mad right there.
The Booker and throwing their hands up, and there's no fans involved.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it would be.
I think it probably was the ball boy.
The ball boy.
I get it.
His first free throw attempt, you see the Raptors mascot.
Look, to the right.
You know, when there's nobody else in the building, you kind of stand out. 5 rebounds.
And the best part, it's on the Bally Sports Arizona broadcast there, but I believe it was the TSN broadcast that then cut away to another shot of the Raptor moving to like the bench area.
Oh yes, he had to go to the corner. He was putting a timeout.
Yeah,
yes,
he's putting timeout.
Yes, he was right behind the net, and then he had to go to the corner. Yeah,
and then
he
Devin
just
Booker was asked after the game about it, and he was like, "Yeah, we're homies. We're homies now." Which led to this. This is a live look of what happened after the game between the Raptors mascot and Devin Booker. Here we go. This is it right here. There it is.
Yes.
That's greatness. We are funny mammals, aren't we?
I know. Twitter always wins. Twitter is, I'm telling you, so many people still tell me, I don't understand Twitter. It's like, if you want humor, you get on Twitter. You don't find this kind of humor on Instagram or Facebook. Twitter is funny. Get on it.
It was a great thing last night because I was, I don't think we have time to bring it up on the show, nor can I actually show the video of what happened. But if you are looking for something to do that's a little NSFW, go on Twitter and search for Kodak Black. He's a rapper. He was at the Florida Panthers game on Tuesday night, and I got about 24 texts about what went down in the Florida Panthers game last night with Kodak Black. There seems to be a Zapruder film-like analysis of what was going down in one of the fancy schmancy boxes last night at the Florida Panthers game with Kodak Black. You can go and look it up yourself. Has to do with the zipper.
Now, Richie, why would you? I mean, it does have everything to do with for unlawful carnal knowledge. Why would you be getting texts? So many texts. Do you emulate Kodak Black when you go bust one out at the Coyotes game at whatever the hell arena's called? What? Why would you be getting all those texts there, sex machine?
I don't know. My friends are just they're great. I love them. But sometimes they can get a little obnoxious. And so I also think they understand that I get really annoyed when they do this to me, which is they start like saying that kind of stuff to me. And I'm like, no, stop it. And so I think it was to get on my nerves a little bit. Yeah. And 24 texts. I was trying to do actual work last night and I'm getting these texts about some dude having sex in a Panthers game. I'm like, dude, stop it. Stop.
Boxing.
We need to rank rappers' names. I think Kodak Black is so awesome.
That's a good name. Yeah. That's a really good name.
Did you know who Kodak Black was? Because I had no idea who he was before last night.
Oh, no. Yes, I did. Because of that name. Yeah.
It's a bear, right?
Oh, crap. No, he's talking about the rapper Kodak Black.
Oh.
Yeah. Boy, howdy.
The
There
origin.
it is.
I thought it was the origin of his name.
This is we can't show the actual video, but this is kind of what it looked like right here.
What?
Right there. There we go. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. We might need to talk to these guys here before we get the hell out of here.
Absolutely.
Audrey
We got our own
Tree in
lawyer
COVID
coming up.
protocol, probably not going to be on the Coyotes bench for tonight's game. Just FYI, in case you care. Speaking of COVID.
Freak Nation at Sports Law Lust. Sports law attorney Dan Lust joins us next. The Broncos for sale. Peyton Manning going up against John Elway. And COVID-19 protocols in all of professional sports. Talk about it next. Freaks.
I want residuals.
She has small hands, so she can really get in your mouth. Our older patients have a lot of spunk.
She's even gone as far as to floss them sometimes for me.
I won the Crest Elderly Service Award for excellence in dentistry. It spurs you on to pay attention to the geriatric population.
I've asked Tammy if are my teeth going to last me the rest of my life, and she said, oh, yes.
I would give her the Supreme Award for taking care of old men like me.
Have you heard about Lucas Brake Parts Cleaner? Lucas Brake Parts Cleaner is made of the highest quality components, giving you superior performance and leaving no residue. How do you apply this? You apply Lucas Brake Parts Cleaner liberally to the parts that need to be cleaned. You'll eliminate brake fluid, grease, dust, and dirt components. We know a little bit about that here in the desert, I'd say. And basically what that does is that makes you a happy driver, because now your brake noise is gone and your performance has gone up. Boom.
I want residuals.
When I watch Charles and Shaq on their NBA show, and you can see they don't want to let it go. They can't. They can be on the court mentally. They can watch this great game happening. But it's a beautiful thing. You never want to let it go. And as I said, as long as you can do the job and you can do the job well, then take it as it comes. Live every day to the full and get as much out of it as you can.
I love that beard. When I grow up, I want to get a beard just like that.
Hey, never grow up, right? That's my number one philosophy in life. Never grow up. Always be a kid inside, especially in sports.
Yes.
I loved watching I had a mad day yesterday, but I caught a bit of the World Series game. And when Houston, right? When Houston, was it Houston? Yes, it was Houston that won. And all those guys
Atlanta won.
Atlanta. What are we doing? I had a crazy day yesterday. I was doing a million things. When Atlanta won for the first time since 95.
I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all the guys are running around and jumping up and down like kids, because that's the great thing about sport. That inner child is such an important part of this great life that we live. And it's the same being a musician.
Yes.
50 years of Judas Priest, and I'm still a big kid inside. I still get the biggest rush when I run out on stage with the rest of the guys and we start to play. We're playing, kids play, and it's a blessing. It's an absolute blessing.
You stole my question, Rob. That I was going to say, what's the difference between you going out in front of 10,000 people or a Major League Baseball player swinging the bat in front of a sold out crowd? Aren't we all kids to a degree? A lot of us have the ability to, in our profession, to still be kids.
Yeah, I think that's so important. When you lose that, it's like Peter Pan. If you're able to channel that essence of that feeling that you had as a kid, and the world was this big, open, beautiful place, and you were innocent in a sense, and you just loved living life. You loved being with your friends, your school friends, whatever. And it's the same in professional sports. I'm sure when the Suns put their kit on, or the Cardinals put their kit on, that they're going ready to get to work. But the essence of work, as we've talked about many times, is this team spirit, and that team spirit of channeling that inner kid is important. Yes, what we do is deadly serious, but you've got to balance that up with absolutely being in a beautiful place. It's got to be the best feeling in the world to be in professional sports, because a lot of these great players, they live and breathe sports from when they're children. They go to college, they get drafted, and then they're suddenly a professional athlete, and they're living their dream. And it's very much the same spirit in rock and roll, no matter what you call it, heavy metal, all rock and roll, all kind of music. You're in this beautiful opportunity, and it's the best feeling in the world.
In music, what is the equivalent of a sports championship? I mean, is it your next album? I mean, how do you know that's the championship when you're going to do another one? What is that equivalent like in music?
It's very similar again, because you feel internally is you're only as good as your last moment. So if you win that, if the Suns win or the Cards win, that was your great moment. Yeah, maybe the next one you may be in a different place, but you are living from the moment of creativity. And again, we change, don't we? We change in this exercise of making music and making the record. Each record achievement, it's not like getting the Heisman Trophy, but you definitely feel when you're releasing that great the great experience of writing new music for the first time to your fans. It's a win. You feel like a win, and again, that's part of the drive and the motivation behind a lot of musicians.
Let's take kind of your whole life a little bit full circle as we go from your book Confess to now these cocktail books that we have on the table, the 50 years of Judas Priest. And you had the release of Turbo, and you said, I believe it was in Confess, that it wasn't necessarily your best work. That I guess tying it back into a championship, it wasn't necessarily your championship, even though there's some badass tunes on there. But did that come to Jesus meeting with you and your body and your cleanliness, did that help you to make your championship even better?
Cleanliness and Rob Halford.
Isn't she amazing? Isn't she amazing? Well, again, it's like a season. In sports, some of your seasons are not as strong as some of the others, but they're all important. They're all important. They're all valuable. They're all valuable. You always gain knowledge and experience from a loss, no matter what that might be in life. You pull from that. You learn from it. Did we not get to the place because of something that I did? Did we not get to the place because the team didn't really balance and coalesce? All of these great things are equally immersed in music. So this Turbo record, which has now become beloved, because are you going to play Turbo Lover tonight? Because we want to sing I'm Your Turbo. It's great. And here's the thing, again, from your fans' perspective, because we're nothing without our fans. And I'm a rabid sports fan like you guys are, and I'm a rabid music fan like you guys are. And sometimes, is that the record I wanted? Not really. Is that the song I wanted? Not really. But I'm going to stick with you. I'm going to stay with you. And that's another metaphor for sports and music. If your team isn't doing so good, you don't leave them. You stick with them. We're in this together, Win or lose, we're in this together. And so a record like Turbo now has kind of pushed its way from the back to the front of the spotlight, and everybody loves that Turbo moment.
Wow.
Yeah, Rob Halford, I'm going to channel my inner Dwayne Thomas now. Kenny knows who that is.
Holy smokes.
And he mentioned that during the Super Bowl. He was a football player here for the Dallas Cowboys. He mentioned during the Super Bowl, if it's such a great game, why are they going to have one again next year? And I have always wondered about people like you, Judas Priest, are on the stage and people are going bananas. And you're having this massive concert and everything is going wonderful and you're laying it on the line and the music has never been so good. And then you got to turn around and do it tomorrow. Is that ever difficult?
No, and I tell you why it isn't that, man. It's because two performances are never the same. Two football games are never the same. A team that's gone to the Super Bowl and wins, and then gets a chance to go to the Super Bowl again, and maybe wins again. The purity of it is that, okay, there's all these guys dressed in their kit, and there's your team and my team, and we're running through the plays and everything else. It's always a little bit different. There's always a new experience coming from the moment. And so it's the same, you get a Grammy. That's just a pinnacle in the music world. You win a Grammy. It's such a feeling of motivation. It's success, it's motivation, it's satisfaction. And you love that. You love that. You can never replicate it 2 times over. So if you win multiple NBA championships, if you win multiple Super Bowls, they're always a little bit different. And I think that's part of the drive. You can never stop winning. That's the thing. If you can never stop winning.
Is some of that answer sounds like it might be in my next question here. When you started off with Judas Priest and 50 years ago, and you guys are touring and so forth, did you ever think that you'd still be banging around on a stage and laying out music and putting people in the aisles with what they're hearing?
It's a beautiful feeling, because most 70-year-old guys are on the golf course or they're on the beach in Florida. It's a privilege. It really is a beautiful place to be at. And again, with success comes, you've got to accept responsibility, and you have to be prepared to give back. You've put a lot of work into what you've done, but again, it's a team spirit. And so this opportunity to keep giving back, whether it's making another record, making another show, the people that have given you this life in music, they deserve that respect. They deserve that opportunity to see you as many times as you're able to do it at the level of performance that's important. Because again, how long do you know you're going to be in the game for? How long does Tom Brady know he's going to be in the game for? You do it as long as you can do the job well. That's another important factor. But no, Statman, if you just said, hey, Rob, at 70, you're going to be making another Judas Priest record, you're going to be back out on the road, touring the world again, I'd have probably given you a smile and maybe a wink, because I love this life. Like sports personalities, we love this life. When I watch Charles and Shaq on their NBA show, and you can see they don't want to let it go. They can't. They can be on the court mentally, and they can watch this great game happening. But it's a beautiful thing. You never want to let it go. And as I said, as long as you can do the job, and you can do the job well, then take it as it comes. Live every day to the full, and get as much out of it as you can.